It's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Monday, August 29th. So, as we know, the moon in Virgo went void last night, setting us up for a very bumpy transition, locking into Libran energy at 5:56 a.m. this morning. So the Libran energy is going to put us in a situation where we have to figure out how to strive for balance. As we know, this new moon in Virgo energy definitely had us focused on the problems in our lives, what is broken in our lives, in order for us to identify what needs to change and, of course, put us in a position to provide solutions. Now, with the moon in Libra, we're definitely going to lighten that vibe from that Virgo energy, which we all need. We are going to be put in a situation where we're going to be able to kind of debate both sides of the coin, really try to figure out the happy medium that we need to take in order to resolve some of the extreme issues that definitely popped up for us in this new moon energy. Now, we want to be fair. We want to do what is right. We want to find peace. We want to find harmony, especially within our emotions with the moon in Libra. However, we sometimes have to dabble in the extremes in order to find that middle grounded point. Although, the new moon energy is still very fresh, we are going to feel the shift and definitely have a lighter vibe to work with. That Virgo energy, being an earth energy, had us grounded and weighted and stuck in our physical bodies and stuck in our physical circumstances. This Libran energy is going to kind of push this energy up into our headspace where we're really starting to contemplate what needs to be done. We're a little bit more chatty, a little bit more social to be able to talk about the problems and, of course, find solutions. There are 11 different aspects taking place here today, and 9 of them involve the moon. So we have the moon in Libra at 5:46 a.m. The very first aspect that the moon in Libra is going to make is a little bit of a tension aspect with the true node. Now, the true node is our soul's destiny's point. It's where we got to get on the right path in order to kind of achieve our purpose, our mission. This particular energy isn't necessarily bad, but now that the moon is in Libra, we're taking a look at the next step for us. What is our next step? Big step, baby step, doesn't really matter. We have to think logically and practically about how it is that we are going to exert ourselves in the path moving forward. Now, we may feel a little bit confused on what this next step would be, what this direction is going to look like, but with the moon in Libra now, we're definitely more in the mental plane, thinking a little bit more about how we can achieve balance as we aggressively pursue our new passions, our new dreams. The moon is going to bump into Mercury, who is already in Libran energy. This is a meeting between the heart and the head. The heart space, of course, represented by the moon, our emotions, our intuition, our memories, our old sense of self. And of course, Mercury being the ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information and communication, already in Libran energy. We've been working very hard to find a peaceful middle ground point in our thoughts, in our communication, in our ideas. This particular energy coming together, bumping into one another, does suggest that we are having an aha moment where finally our heart and our head are on the same page. We're in agreement about something. We are seeing the same side of the situation, the same side of the coin. And because of this alignment, we're having new ideas and we're having new emotions to actually back these ideas, which, if you've been listening for any amount of time, you would know that the first stage of manifesting is to grasp a vision, grasp an idea, charge it with the emotion needed in order to actually bring it to life. And then, of course, when we have our heart and head on the same page, we can engage the physical body to take action in our physical realms, do what is necessary in order to bring said idea and vision to life. Now, the moon is going to bump into Uranus in not the nicest way. Uranus, of course, retrograde in Taurus energy, really trying to push us inward to see where it is that we're afraid of change, where it is that we're resisting change, maybe even becoming the block, the obstacle, the challenge in our own path of progress. This particular shake-up, this particular wake-up is needed because the whole point of Uranian energy is to kind of shock us, give us that aha moment, open our minds up to see where it is that we have to kind of be a little bit more spontaneous, allow change to happen instead of digging in and actually resisting it. The moon in Libra is going to put us in a situation where when we examine where it is that we're kind of digging our heels in and resisting change, where we can kind of talk ourselves into a compromise. Again, baby steps are still steps forward. This Uranian energy, though, does tend to create a little bit of confusion, only to provide us with a path to clarity. We may feel a little bit disconnected because, of course, the moon in Libra craves connection, craves intimacy, craves being around people, while this Uranian energy would prefer for us to kind of detach from those social situations, from the partnerships, in order to do some reflective work independently, alone. This can kind of make us a little bit, I'm going to say, anxious, a little bit agitated, only because the Uranian energy does affect the central nervous system and we're pulling back. So our emotions may not be as open and friendly as the moon in Libra would prefer us to be at this point, because the Uranian energy has us closed off, moving inward to kind of figure out how it is that we think, how it is that we feel, what it is we truly desire, and where it is that we're blocking our own progress and moving forward. Venus is going to make an interaction with Jupiter, and let me just tell you, this is when we are going to be feeling all the feels. Venus, of course, the goddess of love, of worth, of money, of resources. She is in Leo energy, the heart and soul of the zodiac, where we are definitely trying to explore what makes us happy, what brings us a sense of pleasure and joy, what it is that our heart and soul truly wants for us, where it is that we have to kind of express ourselves to the fullest on what it is that we want to pursue from here. Jupiter, on the other hand, is about growth. He's about expansion. He's about beliefs. And he is currently retrograde in Aries energy. So Leo energy, Aries energy, they're both fire energies, which means that we are going to be feeling the spark, feeling the fire, feeling the flames burn within. What I will say to you, this is more of a caution than anything, is that Jupiter tends to magnify whatever it is that we're thinking and feeling. And with this particular interaction, we could definitely go overboard. We're going overboard with the feelings coming up, with our want, need, and desire to express said feelings. We could go overboard in throwing ourselves into indulging into things that bring us a sense of joy and pleasure. Again, a couple of days ago, I kind of used the analogy about, sometimes you sit down with a bucket of ice cream and it feels real good and it's a whole sense of joy and a whole sense of pleasure until you realize that you're at the bottom of the bucket. And then that overindulgence kind of kicks in and you realize, you know what? There is such a thing as too much of a good thing. This is definitely another example of that. We can be a little bit overwhelmed with all the things going on in our inner realm, in our heart chakra. I would say to you, we have a tendency to over-exaggerate situations as well. We're not seeing things as clearly defined as they actually are. We tend to kind of, again, magnify situations, especially where Venus is involved. This has a lot to do with love and with money, with happiness, with joy, or maybe the lack of it. Now, that puts a totally different spin on what it is that we're going to experience if we find ourselves in the lack of or scarcity mindset. There is this want, need, and desire to have everything like now. That would be beautiful. But there's also this element where we're kind of projecting ourselves into the future. We're living this big, grandest dream in our inner realm. That's what we want to manifest. And we may be so overconfident and overly optimistic that particular situation is going to happen, that we may find ourselves committing to things in the here and now that we're not necessarily ready to commit to, that we're not prepared for. Sometimes we bite off more than we can chew in the present moment and thinking that we're going to be able to bring things all together when the time comes. And what that does is actually set us up for disappointment and failure, because we're committing to situations that we aren't presently anchored and prepared for as of yet. So it's almost like we're projecting ourselves into the future. We feel confident that we will be able to pull certain things off in a future sense, but then when we come back to the present moment, we overcommit. And again, that's a bad vibe for us. It's setting us up for failure. It's setting us up for disappointment, for stress, for pressure. We want to avoid doing such things. The moon goes ahead and trines Mars. This is a beautiful energy. This means that we are inspired, we are motivated, we are determined to make a plan to get things done. We have Mars in Gemini energy, which is really aggressive in the mental plane. We are sorting through thoughts. We are processing emotions. We are kind of dreaming the bigger dream. We are aligning our physical energy, our passion, our desires. And the moon in Libra is super supportive of us going after what it is that makes us happy, what it is that's going to bring us peace and joy and pleasure in our lives. And so a trine is a beautiful energy with about, the Libran energy, the Gemini energy, they're both air energies. So there's a lot of mental processing that's feeling really good right now. We're having things click. We're having aha moments. We're having new ideas. We're having new strategies be downloaded in our mental plane. And then, of course, this Mars energy is our will. It is our life force. It is our passion. It is our desire. So we are kind of getting ramped up and charged up in all the right ways. This is definitely going to add to the confidence, to the optimism that we have to be building in order to actually engage the physical body to go ahead and, roll up the sleeves, get the hands dirty in rearranging our physical circumstances so that we can bring some of these new ideas to life. The moon is going to bump into Saturn, though. This is kind of when we get the wind knocked out of our sails, only because here we are dreaming this big dream. Here we are biting off more than we can chew. Here we are all revved up, inspired, motivated, determined, hell-bent to make what it is that we are dreaming of actually come to life. Saturn, the Lord of Karma, kicks in, and he likes to bring us down a couple of pegs. He likes to give us a reality check, not because he doesn't want us to pursue what it is that we're happy and excited about. He wants us to be realistic in doing so. He wants us to slow down and think very carefully, very strategically on how it is that we have to build the right systems, the right routines, the right foundations in our lives in order to actually be successful in seeing us reach our end goal. So although we were kind of flying high there, maybe even verging on manic, being excited, being overly optimistic, overly enthusiastic, this particular energy, again, Moon in Libra, doesn't really want us to live in extremes, because extremes lead to disappointment, to failure on either side of the spectrum. The key is always balance. So the moon in Libra interacting with Saturn in this way is kind of like, maybe we should pump the brakes. Maybe we should come back down to earth a little bit. Maybe we need a time out to really carefully think through our plan, our strategy, in how it is that we are going to go after what it is that we want, that we are passionate about, that we are currently desiring, because we want to be successful. We actually want to reach the end goal. The moon and the sun interact in such a way that would suggest that now we have an opportunity for choice, for a decision. So the moon in Libra, typically the moon highlights for us our past, the old ideas, the old sense of self, what it is we're overly attached to and having a hard time letting go of. The sun, on the other hand, is shining a bright light on what it is that we want to pursue from here, a futuristic element, if you will, where it is that we have to pour our time, our energy, our life force into pursuing new qualities and characteristics, becoming a different version of ourselves that, of course, will create a different reality for us. So, the moon in Libra, the sun in Virgo. The sun in Virgo is very grounded, wants us to be logical and practical in our approach, needs us to be a little bit perfectionist, if you will, a little bit OCD with how it is that we're going to plan. Again, the sun in Virgo needs us to analyze the smaller details of the greater, grander plan, the dream, the vision that we're looking to actually pursue. So this is going to be an opportunity for us to probably see in our exterior realms where it is that we're being asked to let go of certain things that are holding us back, and where it is that we need to actively pursue embodying the qualities and characteristics of this Virgo energy in order to actually build and create the foundation, the system, the structure, the plan that's going to get us from where it is that we're at to where it is that we desire to be. The moon then goes ahead and directly sits across from Jupiter. Growth and expansion, the magnifying glass, the volume all the way up. Now, Libran energy sits across from Aries energy. So the moon in Libra sitting across from Jupiter, who is retrograde in Aries, is really going to put our emotions at odds. Why? Well, because the Libran energy focuses on the team, on the group, on the relationship. What is everybody else wanting from us? While the Aries energy is focused on me, the individual. What do I want? What do I need? What do I desire? Because Jupiter is about opportunity and belief, because the moon in Libra is asking us to find an emotional middle ground, we are going to struggle with trying to figure out where the boundary is needed between honoring ourselves and honoring other people. What we want, what we need, what we desire, what we need to actively pursue as the individual, and what we are aligning with as a group effort in order to make other people happy. Again, very focused on our personal relationships. This is a time when I will say there is going to be some big emotions, some big feels. There's going to be some heart activations. There's going to be a struggle in order for us to find balance. Now, this can, again, because Jupiter's involved, because he kind of puts the magnifying glass on what it is that we're thinking and feeling, this can be over-exaggerated emotions. This can be such a big, huge want, need, and desire for more that, again, we may find ourselves on the opposite extreme side of the spectrum, which is the lack of scarcity mindset. Suddenly, we're not excited and optimistic and confident for what it is that we actually want, need, and desire. Suddenly, we're sad that we don't have it right now. Again, the Libran energy will provide us a middle grounding point, but sometimes we have to sit in the extreme energies of our thoughts, of our emotions, of our experiences in order to see where that middle ground is actually going to appear. The moon is going to semi-square, which is a little bit of a tension point, with Venus. Now, this is playing off of the over-exaggerated emotions that we are currently experiencing. Venus being about values, about worth, about love, about money, about our future plans, in Leo energy is already pretty big, pretty grand. We're already stuck feeling all the big feels. The moon in Libra, of course, wants to balance this out so that we're not, overconfident, overly optimistic that we can have everything that we desire, although the wish, the hope, the dream is still very much there. The moon semi-squaring Venus in this way is actually kind of making us question what it is that we actually want, what we need, what we desire, especially where relationships are concerned. I keep bringing up relationships because we do have the moon and Mercury already in Libran energy. Mercury, of course, preparing to go retrograde in Libran energy. Libran energy is focused on relationships. We are going to see a reorganization in our relationships take place. That's why Venus being in Leo right now is so important, because we do need to get down to the heart and soul of the matter, what we authentically desire, what we truly are aligned with in our heart and soul that would make us happy. And that, unfortunately, for some, will have a huge impact on seeing some relationships fall apart altogether. This is when the true node is going to interact with Chiron in such a way that provides us with an opportunity to kind of see the past, the present, and the future blend together and overlap. What do I mean by this? Well, first of all, The true node is trying to get us on the right path. Chiron is the wounded healer. He's trying to show us, because he's retrograde, he's reflecting on the past. He's trying to show us where it is that we've made some growth, where it is we've made some improvement, where it is that we've actually healed some parts of our emotions, of our mental plane, of our spiritual energetic energy, our karmic contracts, our soul contracts. This particular energy is needed because we have to put in perspective how far we've come in order to realize where it is that we're currently at, in order to realize where it is that we desire to go from here. Now, keep in mind, the wounded healer does illuminate for us where the pain, where the trauma, where the suffering has been initiated in our lives. But Chiron is also the healer. We have the wisdom, we have the knowledge, we have the resources to heal said wounds. But we do have to put things in perspective. And because the true node is here trying to get us on the right path to move forward, we do have to kind of recognize that we're in a state of reflection. We have all these major heavy hitting planets currently in a retrograde, which means that in order to figure out where it is that we're going in the future, we have to take a good look at where we've come from in the past. And this will likely be a little bit of a serious, somber vibe, I would say, in order for us to be reflective enough to examine the pain, the trauma, the suffering, the hardships, the challenges, the obstacles that have been thrown our way. But it should also be a celebratory energy when we realize how much we've been able to heal, how much we've been able to overcome. The last aspect that we have taking place here today is a beautiful one between the moon and the true node. What this suggests is that we had a pretty profound aha moment just now with the true node and with Chiron. We had a perspective changing aha moment when it comes to the growth, the challenges, the obstacles that we've been able to overcome. And because of this, it's giving us clarity on where it is that we want to go from here. The moon in Libra, again, striving for peace, striving for harmony, striving for balance. The true node wanting to get us on the right path in order to actually fulfill our true soul's potential, our mission, our purpose. The reflection back between true node and Chiron is likely going to reveal what it is that we want to do from here. Putting together a plan, even if it's a baby step, putting together a strategy on how it is that we're going to execute said baby step in order to actually reach our dreams, reach our goals, reach a new, beautiful place where we're making peace with our circumstances as we bring some of the dreams and visions to life.